What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another live stream. We're going to be going over the crypto market today, going through Bitcoin, going through some of the relevant charts, because we are seeing a little bit of chop right now. Bitcoin has dropped down to, it actually whipped down below 111,000. We got down to around 110K. We are seeing a little bit of a short-term bounce here since we had that drop, and I'm going to be going through all of the key levels to look at on the Bitcoin chart and which altcoins I would personally be looking at loading up on at this current moment in time. So if that sounds interesting, please make sure to leave a like on the live stream. Let's try and get up to 300 likes by the end of this stream. That would be absolutely amazing. Um, get your questions in as well. If you've got any questions, we'll go through your questions towards the middle of the stream. But first of all, let's just discuss Bitcoin because it's very choppy right now with BTC. Very, very choppy. We've got our clear range that we are trading in the short term, right? You've got your highs of the range around 116. You've got your lows of the range around 109. And we have our mid range point, which we can see we actually got to last night. And I was actually trading Bitcoin. I closed my Bitcoin longs at that point. I closed my longs on Bitcoin before this next move down. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, I have like a copy trading group, and that is in the bundle. And they can copy all my little micro trades, all my swing trades, all my scalp trades, everything in real time. Set it and forget it type of thing. But I had a long open on Bitcoin, which I got at the lows of the range, and I closed it at the highs here, right? And then we've come straight back down basically to the lows of the range again. But there is one thing you can see which is slightly bullish, which is we are basically printing higher lows. Okay, each low here on Bitcoin is slightly higher. Each low is slightly higher, which indicates a bit of bullish momentum. Okay, bit of bullish momentum there. The lows are getting higher. You could argue the bears are getting maybe a little bit exhausted now. And by the way, the stock market today was very green across the board. At least my stock market portfolio um, was pretty green. I have a decent amount of the Russell 2000 ETF, and it is entering price discovery right now. You guys know what I told you about the Russell 2000. I said whenever the Russell enters price discovery, shortly after, you are going to see Total 3 enter price discovery. Now, Total 3 hasn't moved just yet, but Total 3 isn't the leading indicator, okay? Crypto follows the stock market. The stock market doesn't follow crypto. Okay, it doesn't work the other way around. So it makes sense that the Russell is moving first, and then we'll see Total 3 move after, right? Makes sense. But the Russell 2000 is essentially in price discovery mode, which is really, really bullish for risk on assets. And it really started entering price discovery mode around the time that Jerome Powell said that they're going to be basically bringing QT to an end. I didn't watch the speech live, but I saw analysis of the speech. I saw some of the quotes. And essentially, QT is going to be drawing out here, going to be drawing to a finish. And that is incredibly bullish for risk on markets. Powell said that liquidity is getting tighter, and he essentially indicated that they're going to be easing liquidity, which means obviously leading to QE, right? Not directly, not instantly, but QE will be further down the line because they're going to stop kind of tightening their balance sheet, which is very bullish. So you can see the Russell 2000 made a move. Total 3 hasn't moved yet. It still remains relatively low here. But I expect at some point we are going to see this make a big move up and catch up to the move that the Russell 2000 has made. As long as obviously Bitcoin doesn't invalidate its bull market. Now, what do I mean by invalidate its bull market? I essentially mean a weekly close below the Gaussian channel on the weekly. Okay, I posted this on X earlier today. Make sure you're following me on X if you're not already. It's Crypto Archie YT. You can follow my real-time thoughts on the market. And you can see that I posted here my thoughts. I said that if Bitcoin loses 109.5, we'll see a quick move down to the next macro support level, which is the Gaussian channel. Currently, the Gaussian channel sits around $100,000. Okay, around $100,000 is where the Gaussian channel on the weekly is sat. And you can see every time we have come in contact with this bull market, it has acted as perfect support. It acted as perfect support during the tariff crash down to $74,000. It also acted as perfect support during that 8-month bull flag that we were in, that consolidation going sideways for months and months and months when we draw down to 49K. When we drew down to 49K. That was also on the Gaussian channel. So we have hit this channel multiple times this bull market and used it as support. The problem is we don't typically come down and retest it during Q4. We typically retest it in either Q2 or Q3 to then give us momentum for a rally in Q4 in a post-halving year. So it would be unusual for Bitcoin to come down to the Gaussian channel because most people would expect we would lose it. If we come down to it, most people would expect we would lose it, and the top would be in October, like a traditional 4-year cycle. So it's essentially playing with fire to see that type of a move. Now, I'm hoping that move doesn't come. We have 2 major levels of support that we are currently on. And I'm hoping we don't go down to the Gaussian channel, because like I said, you're playing with fire. And if you play with fire, sometimes you might get burnt, and sometimes you might get burnt badly. Your portfolio might get burnt badly. So what are the levels we are currently using as support? Well, we are currently using the bull market support band as support. That is holding up quite well right now. And you can see we've used it as support numerous times in the past few weeks. We used it down here in August and September. Ethereum is also using the bull market support band as support. I wonder if Total 3 is. Total 3 is also using the bull market support band as support. So there's Ethereum using it as support, and there is Total 3 using it as support. So all of your major cryptocurrency charts, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Total 3, they are all using the bull market support band as support. Let's just check others. Why not? Okay, others is a bit below it, but it's not as valid on others. Like, what about total market cap? Total market cap is also using the bull market support band as support. So virtually all the important charts we have are using this indicator as support right now. So that's the major level we're using. The next major level we're looking at on Bitcoin would be the range we are currently trading in, okay? The range we are currently trading in. You can see Bitcoin's been trading in this range, which some would say is actually a bearish range because these typically break to the downside eventually, not the upside, but they could break to the upside. It's possible. But you can see we've got the highs of the range up here, and we've got the lows of the range down here. You can see every time we hit the lows, we get a bounce pretty much, apart from this scam wick, which we all know what that was. And we're at the lows of the range right now. So you would hope we would get a bounce at this key level. So this really is make or break for Bitcoin. I can't stress that enough. This really is make or break for Bitcoin. If we don't hold these levels here, if we don't hold the bull market support band, if we don't hold this range, we are coming down to 100K, in my opinion. Now, some people might say, oh, we're going to go down to 107. It's possible, but I don't think that is as key of a level as 100K. I personally believe if we were to lose the bull market support band, and I've said this many times on the channel, a loss of the bull market support band will bring us down to the Gaussian channel on the weekly. Almost a guarantee in my mind. Now, we don't even really want to talk about if we lose the Gaussian channel. That is our line in the sand. That is the final hurdle. If you lose the Gaussian channel, the bull market is over. It's over for Bitcoin, and I would argue it would also be over for altcoins. We cannot afford to lose the Gaussian channel. Others like to use the 50 moving average. They're basically the same thing. All right. If we were to lose it, you're probably looking at $30,000 to $70,000 on Bitcoin, somewhere in that range next year as a bear market low. But we'll focus on that nearer to the time. Right now, we are still very much all to play for. We're still very much in a bull market for Bitcoin. And until we lose these key levels, it's not worth thinking about too much right now. All right. But with that said, there is a chance, and I said this the day of the top, by the way. I said this on the day at 126K. I said this. So it's not this reactive thing. I'm not saying this in a knee-jerk manner. I'm saying this. I've been saying this since the day. All right. There is a chance the Bitcoin top is in. And there's also a chance, if the Bitcoin top is in, you could still have altcoins make higher highs. You could still have Ethereum make a higher high. Because that is exactly what happened during the 2017 to 2018 bull market. Bitcoin putting its high around mid-December. Ethereum putting its high around mid-January. There was around a month delay. A whole month. And the way this bull market has been, it has been very much narrative driven. Everything hasn't really moved together in a way. It has been atypical. It's been different. This hasn't been a bog standard cycle. So it would make sense to me if there was going to be a major difference. It would be this cycle. And maybe we could see a situation where Bitcoin tops out, but the altcoins continue further. And this isn't just a surface level argument I'm making here. I haven't just come about this, straight away and just said this out loud. This is something I've gone into depth with. I've gone into a lot of depth with my thought process on this matter. It's very interesting that the Russell 2000 right now is making a breakout move. It's very interesting indeed. Are we going to see a rotation into lower caps in the stock market? And if we see a big rotation into lower caps in the stock market, we might see a big rotation into lower caps in the crypto market. It's going to be very interesting to see. As long as Bitcoin maintains this range, it's all to play for the altcoins. As long as the narrative's there, we get some money printing. You could see a big altcoin bounce on this next move up for Bitcoin. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a new move up to all-time highs. It could just be Bitcoin runs up to 120K. That could be enough for Ethereum to make a parabolic move to all-time highs. It's possible. Not saying it will happen. I'm just saying it's possible. Bitcoin could just move up to here and you see Ethereum make a new all-time high in that same time. None of the usual Bitcoin topic indicators have shown up. Yeah, because most of them are arbitrary and they're not going to show up. Most of those indicators. Very arbitrary indicators that, people just came about because they looked at last cycle and said, oh, these worked last cycle. They're going to work again. Every cycle is different. The same indicators that worked in 2021 probably aren't going to work this time. I'm just putting it out there. Why buy Bitcoin? That ship has sailed. I agree. There's no point really in buying Bitcoin at this stage. I bought all my Bitcoin at 15K. Why am I going to buy it now? Bitcoin was actually in decline when Ethereum made a new all-time high. Let me see if I can overlay these charts. Let me see if I can I overlay them in effective manner so it doesn't look stupid. Okay, I can. There we go. So, interesting. So, the blue is Ethereum and the regular chart is Bitcoin, okay? The blue is Ethereum, the regular chart is Bitcoin. Let's see if we can overlay these in, like I said, an effective manner. Let me get rid of all the annotations here. Can I do this on a different chart? Okay. This is going to be very interesting to see. So, interesting. There we go. We can kind of see it here. And this is like so awkward. This is so annoying. This really is annoying, like trying to overlay the two things. Oh my god. Yeah, this probably isn't going to work because it's giving me it in percentages. I don't want it in percentages. See if I can take this off. I want to see the Bitcoin price as well. Anyway, I'm not going to sit here all day trying to mess around with the overlay feature on TradingView. But basically, Bitcoin was in decline and Ethereum was making a parabolic move to all-time highs. See this God candle here? That was... When was that? So Bitcoin put in its top here at 124. That was the 14th of October. That was the 14th of August. So Bitcoin put in its top there at the 14th of August. Ethereum was more like the 24th of August. So you had like a 10 to 11 day lag between Bitcoin and Ethereum. 24th. So where's the 24th? Let's see. 24th. Here, right? So the white circle here, man, that's so annoying. The white circle here is where Ethereum put in its all-time high. Ethereum put in its all-time high here. Bitcoin put in its all-time high here. So you had essentially a drawdown of 8% on Bitcoin. During that drawdown, Ethereum was going parabolic. So whilst Bitcoin drew down like 8%, Ethereum pumped 22%. Now, what was that? That was money rotating out of Bitcoin probably into Ethereum, because Ethereum had a good narrative at the time and the chart looked good. Stablecoin narrative, Tom Lee, all of that. So to me, it's evident you can have an altcoin rally whilst even having a Bitcoin dump. Obviously, it'd be even better if Bitcoin was going up slightly and the money was rotating into alts. But even on a Bitcoin dump, you can have altcoin rallies. Ethereum is an altcoin, for those of you who don't know. So it is very possible that as long as Bitcoin doesn't enter a bear market, you could still have altcoins rallying, provided the narrative is there, providing the charts look good. Very interesting stuff. But smash the likes on the stream if you're enjoying the live stream so far. I'm going to get through some of your comments. But that's super interesting stuff right there. Ethereum pumped 22% during the period Bitcoin dumped 8%. This cycle, this was just a few weeks ago, guys. A couple months ago. We're not talking 2013. We're talking a couple months ago. This happened. Massive pump on Ethereum, pretty sizable correction on Bitcoin. So in a way, it might benefit the altcoins if Bitcoin actually dumps. The same way it might benefit Bitcoin if gold dumps, it might benefit the altcoins if Bitcoin dumps a little bit. Again, provided it doesn't enter a bear market. That's the key part. Because if it enters a bear market, it will drag everything else down with it. As long as it doesn't enter a bear market, we're fine. But the bear market situation, like I mentioned before, the Gaussian channel invalidation, that would be disastrous for alts. There's no way around it. So a lot of the liquidity now is building to the upside around 113 as we came and took the downside liquidity around 111. So this is just a big game, guys. It's the bulls versus the bears. It's market makers having fun. This is a trader's game right now. And that's why I'm making some good gains in the copy trading for my copy traders. If you're not on the copy trading, I highly recommend it. You can get access to it by joining the big bundle. That is the only way to gain access to the copy trading. But even in the VIP, there's still a lot of perks. It's unbelievable value for money, the VIP, what you get for it. You get a 24/7 active Discord. You get all my real-time spot buy and sell alerts. But you don't get my scalp trades, okay? Because by the time I give out an alert, everyone sees it. And the copy trading only has a limit of 200 people. So if I gave that out to the VIPs, it would fill out in like 10 minutes, okay? If I gave the copy trading out to everyone, it would fill out in 10 minutes. Maybe less, because there's about 1,000 VIPs. Everyone would just join it instantly. So it has to have a barrier to entry, and that's why I've decided to do it exclusively for the bundle. So this is the Discord server. You can see that there's people in here sharing alpha 24/7. You can see Watley has me on his big TV there above the fireplace. Nice to see. Good to see people watching me on the big screen. But yeah, this is the Discord. People posting charts 24/7. You have my buy and sell alert channel. I actually just dropped a buy alert for a new coin. And I went pretty heavy on this coin, okay? Relatively heavy. Not massively, but I threw in around $25,000 into this coin. Okay, which to most people is a lot of money, right? I understand that because I used to work for £10 an hour. So $25,000 to me back then was a hell of a lot of money. I would have done anything for that. I would have mopped floors for 5 years for that money back then. But anyway, you can see that my new VIP gem ranks just below H-bar in terms of the order of preference, but it's above Avantis, it's above Virtuals, it's above Zora, and it's above Epic Chain. So this new gem is pretty high up the ranks for me. It has a lot of potential. I put it down as 3 to 12x. And like I said, I put a decent amount of money into it, but if it dips lower, I'm going to double down, triple down, quadruple down. I'm going to buy a whole lot more than what I've already put in if it dumps. But based on some of my current buy alerts, the recent track record has been phenomenal. It might just start rallying very, very soon. As you guys know, we made a 10x in 10 days on Avantis. We then rotated Avantis into Zora, and that did a 2x in 24 hours when the whole market was obliterating. The whole market was dumping, and Zora did a 2x in a day. So you could have made a 20x in a month if you played your cards right with those two buy alerts I gave. 20x. That's $1 million going to $20 million. Just to put it into perspective. So BTC is having a little bit of a bounce here. A little bit of a bounce from the range lows. You can see we are making higher lows here. It's a relatively bullish structure. Let's take a look at the stochastic RSI on the 15-minute. Okay, so it's getting quite high. So, yeah, we might come back down and retest these levels again. You know, or maybe we just kind of come back down to a golden pocket and then we start bouncing again. But yeah, very, very interesting market indeed right now, because we have the stock market pumping, S&P 500 up 50 basis points, Russell 2000 up 75 basis points, NASDAQ up 80 basis points. We have the stocks pumping right now, but crypto isn't doing that great. Gold just made a brand new all-time high, 4,200. I actually had 4,200 clearly outlined on my chart from a long time ago as a potential top on gold. And, you know, it's really weird seeing crypto people celebrate gold's pump. I don't quite get it. Because to me, Bitcoin and gold are kind of inversely correlated. Whenever gold's skyrocketing, it always seems like Bitcoin's not really doing much most of the time. When gold kind of settles out, that's when Bitcoin starts rallying. So I'm not really that excited about gold rallying. If anything, it's taking attention off Bitcoin, because gold and Bitcoin are competitors, no matter what people say. They're both competing to be the ultimate currency, the ultimate store of value. People call gold God's money. People call Bitcoin people's money, right? The people's currency. So they are competing both to be real money and to be the best store of value out there. And if gold is taking all the attention off Bitcoin, no one's really thinking about Bitcoin. Everyone's just buying gold. In fact, some people have been selling their Bitcoin for gold. So I'm actually hoping gold stalls out. That's my hope, because then it can maybe pass the torch on to Bitcoin. But I don't see it as this great thing, gold just constantly pumping. I personally don't. My friends and I just want to join the VIP. Yeah, man, the VIP is where it's at. 24/7 active group, daily voice chats. There's really nowhere like it. Nowhere is like it. And the bundle is even better because you get access to the copy trading. There's an entire copy trading system there where you can literally deposit money, set it and forget it. While you're sleeping, I'm entering trades, basically. And I'm doing this 24/7. I had a win rate. I think it's still valid, actually. Yeah. 21 wins in a row. Or 22 now, I think. I think I've got a win streak. I meant to say win streak, not win rate. I've got a win streak of, I think, 22 wins in a row. I'm just trying to check it here just to confirm it. Yes, win. Trade history. Yeah, win. Okay, okay. 10, 15, 20. I think it's 24 or 25 wins in a row, actually. "25 wins in a row, I'm pretty sure, but I'll double check, but I just quickly counted it there. 25 trade wins in a row. Those are swing trades, scalps, all that good stuff in a row. Not just 25 wins in general, in a row. Since I've had a loss, the last time I had a loss was 25 trades ago. Let that sink in. 25 trades ago was the last loss. Ricky Ramiro with the $2 says, I rotated 10K of my Bitcoin into Sui degen move. I think it's a perfectly reasonable move if you want to be more risky. Sui's at a good price to buy. Bitcoin's at a decent price to sell, especially if you bought it at the cycle lows, 15K, 20K, whatever. So to me, it's a perfectly reasonable move, but depends if that was all of your Bitcoin, right? I wouldn't sell all your Bitcoin for Sui. I would always keep some. The macroeconomical situation makes it almost impossible to see an alt season soon. Maybe in a few years. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, bro, the Russell 2000 is breaking out to all-time highs. That is your risk-on indicator for the stock market. So the stock market's going risk-on. Jay Powell just came out and basically said they're ending QT. We're getting more rate cuts. I mean, what more do you want? M2 money supply is exploding. I mean, what do you mean, bro? All the ingredients are there. We're just not getting it. That's the way I see it. Every possible indicator is there for an alt season. We just haven't had it yet. So I don't know what you're on about. The indicators aren't here yet. Maybe in a few years. The indicators are here. Stock market's at all-time highs. We've had rate cuts. We're getting more rate cuts. The Fed have just said they're basically ending QT. The Russell 2000's breaking out to all-time highs. We're in a tech stock AI bubble where they're absolutely soaring. Bitcoin's at all-time highs. All the recipes are there. All the ingredients are there for an alt season. We just haven't had it yet. So I don't get your logic there. Do I think Casper will do a 10x? Absolutely not. Not this bull market. Ricky says, thoughts on Radium, easy 3x from here? Yeah, I think Radium could 3x. That's reasonable. Not 10x, but it could 3x. People need to get this idea of a 10x out of their head. It's not easy to make a 10x. Maybe on a low cap, or maybe on a coin that has a good looking chart, but Casper's chart is not good. It's been in a downtrend for like a year now. Casper's been in a bear market, in a bull market. It's not got a good chart. So the odds of a 10x on Casper are pretty low. Radium, could it do a 3x? Yeah, it could. There's a chance it could run back up to its highs here of $8. Yo, get on that one-to-one call with Bren. He is spot on, and they don't play. It's all positive vibes. Absolutely, man. Get on a call with Bren. Absolutely free of charge, zero pay. And he's a great guy, very knowledgeable guy. And he loves to talk about crypto, and he loves to help people out. So get on that call. It's linked down below. Highly recommend it to people. What about Asta? Asta's decent. I was trading Asta last night in the copy trading account, doing some scalps on it. Win after win after win. Hope Casper can do at least a 3x. Yeah, I think it could do that. For sure. I think Casper should go between 20 and 30 cents whenever it has a big rally. Do you remember when everyone was talking about the Casper power law? Does anyone even talk about that anymore? I swear it just got invalidated ages ago. Yeah, I think Casper's like a 3 to 5x. Ricky says, I got on a call with Bren and he went above and beyond with me. He did a 30-minute call. God bless him and Archie's team. I appreciate that. Yeah, Bren is an absolute genius and he's a workaholic, man. He works so hard for this group. So you booked a 15-minute call with him and he worked for 30 minutes for you for free. You didn't pay anything. That is insane. That is insane. So I highly recommend people book a call with him. The link is down below. Pygo says there is a very real possibility of the bear market starting too. People have to be ready for both scenarios. I'm absolutely ready for both scenarios. I'm ready for a bear market. The moment Bitcoin closes the week below the Gaussian channel, I am opening shorts on basically everything. The moment that happens. It hasn't happened yet, so I remain bullish. Till that happens, I'm still bullish, and I'll remain macro bullish on Bitcoin and crypto, and I'll keep buying it. If Say does a 5x, what can Millie do? Probably 5x whatever Say does. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up the stream here. It's 11 p.m. my time, and I have some meetings to attend. Which crypto could 100x? Bro, what a ridiculous question, man. Go watch some Moonboy channel, man, if you want to get 100x. It's never going to happen. Not in this cycle. Maybe last bull market. But people need to get this 100x out of their head, man. I've made 100x's in crypto, but I haven't seen 100x in a very long time. The best way of making 100x is by rotating two 10x's. Get a 10x on one coin, get a 10x on another coin. That's how you make 100x, not by putting it all in one coin. Good luck with that. You probably have about 200 rugs before you hit 100x on Dex Screener. So, if you're desperate for 100x, you need to look inwards. You need to try and up your cash flow. That's the reality, because 100x, let's say I have $5 million, right? And I 100x. Do you know how much money that is? That's $500 million. I go from 5 million to $500 million. That's not realistic. Get your head out of the clouds, you know? 100x's are things of the past. If you can 5x your portfolio this cycle, you've done great. Because most people won't even 2x. That's the reality. Most people are down 90%. The only people in my group who are actually buying good quality coins, making good money, who are in profits. The vast majority of people watching these normie, stupid, idiotic crypto channels are losing all their money. They're down 90% on everything. They haven't had a single 5x this cycle. Single 10x. They haven't had one. We get them every month. But I've got a few meetings to attend, guys. I'm going to head out and attend those meetings. If you did enjoy the stream, please make sure to leave a like. And yeah, I'll see you guys over in the Discord.